SWRP. And we here as a coalition of students, teachers, parents, and community members who greatly care about public education. We are very concerned about an act to further narrow the Achievement Act, which is currently being considered by the Massachusetts legislature. The act seeks to fill the current cap on the number of charter schools in our state. Let me initially say that we and our representation of students, parents, teachers, and other stakeholders are opposed to this legislation. I personally oppose this legislation because I once went to a charter school, which was Academy Pacific Rim. I went there for 2 years during my 6th and 7th grade. And during that time, I continuously seen multiple teachers and also the principal herself. She tried to push out multiple students, many students, of special needs and just of regular, disabled learning, and also just regular students pushed out of that school because they had low test scores on MCAS, low test scores on SAT and PSATs. They did this because they wanted to stay at the top 3 schools in Boston Public Districts, to stay at the top 3 schools of the whole district that had the highest scores for MCAS, SATs, and PSATs. And within these, due to my experience from Academy Pacific Rim, I chose to go to a public school. And I chose to go to a public school because public schools gave out a message to me and to also other students that said all students are welcome here and we accept all, no matter what conditions. I went to Sonoma International because Sonoma International gave me a better education to prep for colleges that I needed to go to get it better, to succeed in life. Sonoma also helps students get jobs and get into a good college that they want to, of their own choice and not the choices that they are given. We want to get a wide span choice. We're an international school, so we got a wide band choice, not just schools that are in-state. We also get out-of-state schools. We also get international schools, also France, Japan, Spain, and Barcelona, etc. I like Sonoma because it is an open campus school, and that allows the students to feel as if they were in a real college, walking from class to class, building to building. I also like how Snowden has an interbaccalaureate program, IB program, which basically it's college grade classes. So as if you used to take the IB program, and when you go into college, you will not take your freshman year college classes. You go straight into your freshman year. And these courses will actually prep you for directly being in college for every single course, all the hardships that you encounter, the books that you need to have, the support that you need, all the resources that you need to have will be given through the IB program.
All right, thank you, Alex. So next we're going to hear from Richard Stuffman, who's the president of the Boston Teachers Union.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. It's glad to see everybody here. My name is Richard Stuffman. I'm proud president of the Boston Teachers Union. I'm equally proud here today to stand here as a representative of this newly formed coalition of parents, students, teachers, and paraprofessionals, the real representatives and the actual users of the Boston Public Schools. We are constantly fed a steady diet of misinformation from charter school supporters and others seeking privatization of our schools who pretend to speak for the BPS community. They don't use our schools, but they insist that charters offer the only solution and that the charter schools ought to be expanded. We're here to say that we are the real representatives, not only of those who use our schools, but of those who insist that all children have a right to receive a good quality education. And we're here to say that good and equitable public policy demands that we keep the charter school cap on to stop the growth of a separate and unequal school system. Charter schools do not educate all students. They do not provide equal access. Most discriminate against special education students and limited English proficient students. Most evict students at critical times during their career. Most evict students shortly before the 10th grade MCAS, as one example. Most evict others shortly before graduation if they're not going to help their percentages. They propagate a dual system of schools, and those who need special help need not apply. And if they do apply, they will not get the services they need. They're not welcome. This is bad public policy. It's bad social policy. It's bad educational policy. And we should either allow it, expand it, or pay for it. Our schools, I'm proud to say, welcome all students. We educate all students. It's our obligation, and we want it no other way. Our schools have welcome mats in their front halls, not a revolving door. There are insufficient resources to go around. Every dollar spent in expanding charter schools for the few, for those who are cherry-picked, is a dollar less spent for those who are enrolled in our public schools. At a forum down the street this morning at the Pioneer Institute, offered a plan that would pave the way for multiple and independent authorizers to review and approve new charter schools in Massachusetts. In their new vision, for-profit charter schools, franchises would take hold. Those who hope to fully capitalize on the privatization of our public schools are salivating for these opportunities. They smell blood. Those of us who seek equal access in grade schools for all students call on our policymakers to keep these opportunists at bay. Keep the charter cap as it is, and work with us to improve our public school system. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Richard. Next, we're going to hear from a parent, a public education advocate, Karen Kastner.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here today. I have 3 children, all of whom are not only have high IQs, but they have special needs. And educating children like mine is constantly a struggle for schools because they don't quite fit into the advanced box and they don't quite fit into the special needs box. And this means the schools need to find a way to challenge my children and at the same time give them the special help that they need. Education is the key to unlocking success for children, and we must find a way as a society to educate every child to their highest potential equitably. Because my children are so bright, they've actually been asked by charters to come and look into joining the school. And until they found out that my children had special needs, they encouraged us to go through the process. As soon as they found out that my children had special needs, and let me be very clear, my children's special needs are very minimal. They are outside of the classroom less than 10% of the school day. And they decided that I no longer needed to complete these applications. So that gives you an idea of what a parent goes through when they look at a charter school. So I looked at my other options, and I went back to the Boston Public Schools where I come from. And I've been lucky. My children have gone to fabulous schools in the Rosendale area. They both graduated from an elementary school there. One is at the middle school, and one is at a high school in West Roxbury. And we've been very blessed that they've all made progress through these schools. Unfortunately, both of my daughter's schools, like every other BPS school, has been detrimentally impacted by charter schools. In Rosendale, where we live, there are quite a few charter schools which siphon off the students that they cherry pick and do their lottery process for admissions while excluding others who don't quite fit into their mold. In addition to setting up a two-tiered education system of have and have-nots, the following issues are directly attributable to charter schools. At both schools, we receive budget cuts yearly. At the middle school, where I've been a parent for 4 years now, we have continuously received budget cuts, and which have led to the following. The school having to cut the number of staff members, including special educators. At the same time that we're cutting those special educators, our school has gone from 26% special education in 2012 to 43% special education population this year. And as of September, we will be at over 50% special education, which is fine by me. But they've cut our budget, so we can't give them everything we need. same time, we've had to cut elective programs like our very successful applied science program, which combined animal and general sciences with engineering at a time when our STEM programs need to expand across the district and the state. And last fall, they've now started cutting our ELL programming, even though we're the middle school landing spot for an elementary school that actually has a high ELL population, which breaks the pathway promise of sending those children to the same school with their peers in their community. Proponents, pro-charter proponents, will tell you that charter schools do educate ELL students, those with disabilities and those with socioeconomic challenges, but won't tell you that they also cherry-pick those students. When selecting special needs ELL and socioeconomic challenge students, they only accept those with high average to superior income who have minimal specialized education needs, whereas our regular BPS schools are legally obligated to educate every level of student. They will also try to tell you that our public schools are horrible. Well, as a BPS graduate and as a BPS parent and advocate who has worked in every single school in Boston, I can tell you they're not. Though we still have work to do in Boston to make every one of our schools high quality, we have many public schools across the city that get the job done and do it right. We just need to expand that success, which is really up to our legislators. They need to fully fund our public schools, not drain resources further. As a parent and an advocate with clients all over the Commonwealth who has worked not only in public schools but also had clients in charter schools, I choose to stay in BPS and I do not go anywhere else. And the reason that I do that is that we truly do have one of the best districts in the country, despite what you might read or hear in certain newspapers. I am urging our lawmakers now, and they know me pretty well as it is, to fully fund public education at the level that it was supposed to be, and ensure quality education for every child, not just some, by retaining the cap on charter schools. Thank you.
I went to, that was a long time. Yes, I did, actually. Really? Good job, good job.
It's been, what, 11 years?
Yeah.
All right, hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Eric Berg. I'm a second grade teacher at the Philbrook School in Rosendale. I've been a teacher for 22 years. I'm also the father of 2 kids in the Boston Public Schools who have attended a total of 6 schools in Boston. And although today's event is focused on opposing the bid to take away resources from our public schools by expanding charter schools, I'd like to focus today on what all of us, parents, students, and teachers, stand for, because I think it's important that we talk about what creates a great education that narrows the achievement gap and works for all children. We stand first and foremost for equity. And I think promoting equity is something that public schools have traditionally done in our country, and at their best it's what we still do. We open doors to all students and can level the playing field, especially for those who struggle the most to learn. And we are here today because we believe in a system of schools that educates all children. Not just those whose families have the wherewithal or the foresight to enroll their children in a special lottery process 8-9 months in advance. Not just those who naturally persist in the face of difficulty, but all students, including those who are learning English, including children with learning and other disabilities. We stick with every child, even when he or she makes mistakes, because we believe that every child has the capacity to learn with the proper supports. That is what public schools do. We open doors and we welcome students and families. Even those who move in October because of a rent increase. Even those who may be released from a DYS facility